Many years ago, a game was released that would inspire a genre for years to come. A game riddled with controversy. A title whose name would spell out the very fate its critics believed it would bring. Before the world experienced id Software's classic shooter in 1993, creative differences plagued the team that developed it. These differences shaped the game we now know as Doom.
Once we finished the Wolfenstein sequel, I created the Doom engine, and my goal was to get a license from Fox to make a game based on the movie Aliens, which was one of our favorite science fiction films. But that fell through, and when it did, Tom created the Doom Bible, which was like this comprehensive story for Doom. He didn't want it to be a plotless shooter like Wolfenstein, but the team eventually decided against it, and he resigned. And it was rough, but I told him, a story in a game is like a story in a porn movie. It's expected to be there, but it's not that important.
Looking back at when I first played Doom at around 8 years old, it meant something very different to me than it does now as an adult. I had played Wolfenstein 3D and I loved it. I played it for hours upon hours. And I even frequently found myself coming back to it to see if I could find more secret rooms and play on harder difficulties, etc. But Doom scared me to death. Where Wolfenstein provided a brightly lit, endless maze of Nazis to kill, as far as I was concerned, Doom took place in the most corrupted corner of hell. A dark, multi-leveled Pandora's box filled with busted lights, poisoned pools, and packed to the brim with my own personal demons. Back then, taking on the role of this nameless man was not something I took lightly, especially when even the box art features him just after he climbed to higher ground to get vision on the spread of hellspawns trying to mutilate his junk. I like to make things harder than they need to be, so I'd start a new game on the hardest difficulty setting. I'm not talking about the ultra-violence or nightmare difficulty. True masochists had to look for access to the hardest difficulty setting. First, you had to open your Doom directory and find the difficulties folder and open this document in WordPad. All the standard difficulties were listed, but there was one more, which was called Kill Yourself. But before that, use rubber bands to cut off the blood flow to your penis till it turns purple and falls off. Then seriously kill yourself. Save and start the game. I gave it a shot and I died immediately. Then I died again and again. Then the game started to feel a bit like Groundhog Day, except Bill Murray was the masked Marine and Andy McDowell was a demon hellspawn. After trying over and over again, I began to realize my demons were the same, only my approach became different. And soon I was well enough acquainted with the game that I was shooting more accurately and developed a series of stratagems to defeat my enemies. Yeah! And then I got to the next area and I died again. Alright, let's move on. Before the release of Doom, the team at id Software decided that Doom would be open source shareware, and they designed a very compelling press release and marketed it in a very interesting way.
So for us, it was like, well, how do we get in the store? How do we get Doom in the store with a shareware game we're giving away for free? What do we do? So the idea was that the title screen of Doom says suggested retail price $9 on it. And then we told the companies that were already in the stores, if you put Doom in the store, in a box on the shelf, you just keep all the money. We don't want any of it. If you went into a CompUSA back then in 1994, you would see 10 different boxes of Doom and think they're all different games, but they're all the same shareware game. And there's Doom, more Doom.
The game became so popular that even Bill Gates featured himself in Doom during a promotion for Windows 95.
These games are getting really realistic. Next year I might even play in the big Doom tournament.
He even had the balls to cosplay as Harry Potter 2 years before the first book came out. The Doom engine even snuck its way into cereal boxes with Chex Quest, which is actually an awesome game. Only I can't remember which cereal had the CD in it. What cereal came with Chex Quest? It's Cookie Crisp. Yeah, I had a feeling. It's Cookie Crisp. Now, I'd like to have a moment of silence for the Doom motion picture, starring Dwayne Jansen, a film that paid homage to a game celebrated for its fast-paced, ultra-violent gunplay, by ending it with a martial arts fight. Dear Mother of God. Doom was something the emerging PC gaming community in the 90s could get behind. With open source and network multiplayer, Doom became something players would continue to play and modify to this day. By manipulating the game's WAD files, players could create things like maps and sprites. Mods like Brutal Doom expanded the original game with things like free look, new textures, and difficulty levels. Being that anyone could alter the game, mods throughout the years have ranged from serious to silly to unapologetically offensive. Many of those more politically incorrect ones I believe are reactions to human buttholes like this guy who go on the news and try to pitch this notion that violent video games cause violence and mass shootings.
Mr. Grossman, investigators have now confirmed that both of the teenage killers were users of a vicious video game. Do you think there is any link between their massacre and their use of these violent video games?
Paula, we don't think it. We know it. We're going to prove it in a court of law in the Paducah case.
Which is an interesting headline if it bared any truth. But that's all it is. An interesting headline. As opposed to the real headline, which is crazy people do crazy shit and they don't need any help from video games. Doom is considered by many as the father of the first-person shooter genre, a genre that would be expanded on countless times. Let's take a walk down memory lane and see some of the games that followed Doom. Arguably the most notable first-person shooters since Doom were Valve's release of the cerebral shooter Half-Life and the mechanically brilliant Counter-Strike, whose third iteration remains one of the most popular games in the world. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to suggest a game for me to journey through, then please let me know in the comments. And if you like my content, feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I produce at least one video a week, so stick around for more videos. Thank you again, and I'll see you soon.